Hi guys, I'm here, just waiting on you. Hey, slide back a little bit. I know y'all need to be all up in my grill. Hi, need to put on some socks, child. My feet cold. Hi everybody. Where's my other sock? Where's my other sock? No, I had two socks coming in here, didn't I? I had two in my hand. Did I drop one? Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, there it is. Got my sock, y'all. You know what I gotta go and get? I need my earplugs. Be back. I gotta go get my earplugs. I gotta be able to hear y'all. Come on and get this money. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Alrighty. Hey, hey, hey. Ugh. Woo, honey, what's going on? I got like 3 different drinks over here. Got to have some water because you know you gotta keep yourself hydrated. Okay, I'm gonna pull up just a little bit closer so that you guys can see me a little bit. Ha ha. What's cooking, y'all? Hey, 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 pets. Hey, Michelle, girl. Michelle, turn your phone this way in video. Hi, Alvin. Haven't talked to you today, honey. I guess you're in love. It's all good, honey. Okay, hi, Tam. Hi, you guys. Hi. Bloop. All right. So tonight, I'm going to have Dr. Jeff. Yes, Dr. Jeff. Hey, Jules. Oh, my God, Jules. You know, you need to hit me up, girl, because, you know, I'm dropping a track, and I want to make sure I talk on some of the local radio stations out in Lagos, in Abuja, okay, over in Africa. So hit me up with some of the hot stations, and I'll reach out to my agents to plug me. Yeah. The track is called Honey. Come and get this money, honey. Okay? So tonight we're going to be talking about, we got you, Michelle. Tonight we're going to be talking with Dr. Jeff. And if a lot of you guys have tuned into Real Housewives Season 7 and probably some of the other shows shown around here, Dr. Jeff has appeared on several different reality shows and talk shows, helping and fixing relationships all across the world. So when Greg and I had our issues, and honey, we have had some issues, okay? And I am an open book when it comes down to a relationship because I love to talk relationship. So we've had our highs and our lows in our relationship. Season 7, the Real Housewives called on Dr. Jeff to fix the cast with relationship issues and communication. It didn't work, as you can see. He was great, but we just weren't receiving it. That was a really tough season for me, season 7. It was very emotional for me. Today, Dr. Jeff and I recently, a few months ago, he had a couple of sessions with Greg and I. Every time Greg and I hit a rocky patch in the road, Dr. Jeff is always someone really great to that we can call on. I literally can text him and tell him that I'm struggling with some certain things. So one of the things a lot of my girlfriends have said to me during this time is that they're single. I've even had a few guys to say, I'm single. You know, what do I do? Like I was talking to Jason Lee the other day, and he said to me that he knows now during this time that he needs somebody after this. He said, because when times like this happen, you don't have anybody, you're in the house by yourself, like you need someone. hell, I would think you don't need no one. I'm real good with being by myself. You know what I'm saying? But, I don't know. Maybe I got options, because if I didn't want to be by myself, I could go and be with somebody, that kind of stuff. But Greg would die if he heard that. But that's what I think and feel. So, I'm different. But a lot of my girlfriends are by themselves during this time. They're not dating. They're single. They're like feeling the pain right now. They don't know what to do, how to handle this. Should they go rush out and date immediately when we're able to go back outside and play? But I don't know. So Dr. Jeff is going to come on shortly and talk to us about, for those of you who are in a relationship, how to keep your relationship thriving and surviving. Hi, Greg Leaks. He's on here because Greg is going to use some of the counseling as well. How to keep your relationship thriving and surviving during this time. And also, hey, Jerome, if you're single, Dr. Jeff is going to try and help you figure out some things that you can do once you're able to get out of the house. Right now, I personally think this is a great time, if you like somebody, to really start talking on the phone to them, like a lot. And then you can really get to know, learn their personality. You didn't have to sleep with them. You didn't feel any pressure of sleeping with anybody. So you can just get to know the dude over the phone. Maybe even, try a little phone sex or something. Or even tell him to let's FaceTime and you show me what you're working with. You know what I'm saying? Something like that, girl. That's what I would be thinking. Hey, this ain't no pressure. I ain't got to worry about having no sex. We can FaceTime, or we can talk on the phone a lot. And as soon as we get out of this house, though, baby, I'm going to wear you out, okay? That's what I would be thinking. So, or I think this is a really cool time to do something like online dating. Same thing, emailing back and forth, talking, that kind of stuff. Greg said, girl, bye. He trying it. It's the truth. I really do feel like that, if I was single, I would be doing that. I would be on the phone talking. You ain't got to worry about having sex. You can be emailing, going back and forth. And if he really likes you, and if you really like me and I'm single and you're single, maybe he can send some takeout over to your house. Maybe you can order and he can pay for it and, send it to your house, Or if you have a backyard like I do, I have my backyard with my pool. And I've invited a couple of my girlfriends over this week. But the plan is they won't walk through the house. They'll park in the driveway, come through the back gate, and we'll sit around the pool, but we'll be far away from each other. So the outdoors area is big enough for them to stand somewhere else. I have a table that sits 16 people, so somebody can sit at one end, at the heads of each end of the table, and then somebody can sit in the center, so we'll be away from each other. Now, we're not even going to be 6 feet away. I hope for us to be at least 8 feet away. So if it's just a couple of us, we could be 10 feet away, honey. I could be on one end of the pool and you could be on the other. And we'll just yell across and have drinks or something like that. So if you have a backyard, I feel like, if it's possible for the person to enter your backyard without entering through your house, you could still have a friend to come over and they sit opposite of you somewhere in your backyard. Or if you have a patio, then they can come from the backyard to the patio. Maybe they can sit on one end and you sit on the other and have a drink. I wouldn't have no more than 3 people. Maybe it just depends on how big your backyard is, okay? So, Dr. Jeff, come on. I don't know where you are, but we're waiting for you to plug me at this point, and so I can bring you on. Jewel, don't forget, I want to make sure that I'm on some of the local stations over in your country. And so DM me a couple of stations that my PR can reach out to. I look a hot mess. Everybody knows every day when I come on here, I do my own hair and makeup. Today I didn't do that good with my makeup. Sometimes the last couple times I was really good. This time I'm not that great today. And I think, I was saying this to one of my makeup artists. I think sometimes it's your hand. I don't know. Sometimes my hand be doing a good job, and then sometimes my hand is jacked up. I don't know. But so today I'm looking a little plain, and I feel like I'm red or something, so I might have did the makeup wrong. but it doesn't matter. Okay, before Dr. Jeff gets on, I want to say this to you. You guys can ask him any questions that you want to ask him. He's an open book. I'm an open book. Greg is a closed book. But you can ask me about Greg and I'll just answer. Greg will have a heart attack. However, I can answer any questions dealing with relationships. I feel like in my relationships, I have been with Greg for 23 years. We have had the highest of highs and the lowest of lows. I feel like we have been in stages where we have been love, 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 and no. We have been on every end of a relationship you could possibly be on. And I don't know about you ladies, but I know for me, a lot of guys that I have come across are not great communicators. And that's one of the things I felt that was an issue with Greg very early on in our relationship, that he did not communicate very well. And I feel like since we've been together for 23 years, I have taught him a lot better on how to communicate. Did you say Dr. Jeff is here? Oh, where is he? Let me see. Dr. Jeff, will you just do a comment for me? Just say hi, Nene, and then I'll just bring you on that way. Hey, girl. Hey, Alvin, girl. Hi. Dr. Jeff, I'm waiting on you to say hi. Hi to me, and then I'm going to bring you on that way, because you know I can't do it these other ways, all these fancy ways, all these other fancy folks be doing. Okay? I'm looking real hard, too. There you are. Hi, Dr. Jeff. Yeah. There you are. Hey, I'm waiting on you now. Yay. Oh, la, 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 la. Okay, waiting for Dr. Jeff.
Yes.
Hi, we did it.
How are you, old friend?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
I was reading all of the comments on your page, and people cannot believe that we are together doing this. They just can't believe it.
Really? Listen,
Yeah.
let me tell you something. What Dr. Jeff, they have it all the way twisted. I was just saying to them a few minutes ago that obviously I've spoken to you about my relationship several times. I'm an open book. I'm not sure if I don't think I'm what do you call your clients? Do you call them patients, or what do you call them?
When it comes to you, I call them a force of nature.
Okay, thank you. Well, me being the force, me being the force of nature that I am. Do you have other couples or women that are like me? I feel like Dr. Jeff. I feel like I was very open. I felt like you were a man, so I was bumping heads with you and kind of like testing you, because I wanted to make sure, number one, that you were going to be fair. Because you were a male, I didn't want you to feel like, oh, I can relate to Greg. I'm that kind of man. Like, I'm like, no, relate to me. I'm a woman.
Well, I think we're going to have a little bit. I guess we have to continue the saga, right? From the housewives. I was there for you 1,000,000%. And I think more than anything else, I just wanted you to be able to step into that place, to look at what it is that folks were kind of doing to you, what you felt you needed to do in order to straighten folks out. So I kind of gave it to you to do, but I wanted to be impartial. I wanted to be fair, but I also understand that you felt that perhaps I wasn't with you 1,000,000% the way that you needed at that time. But you know, I always came through for you, and I would always be there for you. So
Thank
that was
you.
my intention. But you were very, very, very emotional, which I understood. It felt like the world was coming at you, and I got that.
Yes, and I still feel that way sometimes now. I really do feel like working on a show like The Real Housewives of Atlanta, I have been the target a lot of times. And I feel like I have been the target because I built this house. You know what I'm saying? So I'm the foundation, and I feel like people feel like because she's been here the longest, let's fire at her. And I don't know why that is, because I feel like they don't hold each other to those same standards. They only hold me to certain standards. But that's okay. I'm a strong girl. I'll blow their heads off every chance I get.
But there's an old saying, familiarity breeds contempt. And it's those people that we hold at the highest levels that sometimes we see them as the mother, we see them as the alpha, but then we come to resent it because we feel that we're not allowed to develop the way that we want to. That's psychologically a
Yeah.
lot of what I think was going on, because the fact of the matter, it is true. You did build a house. You are, I'm saying it, you are that foundation to the housewives, not just of Atlanta, but all of the housewife foundations and all of the housewife shows. And, you know, I've worked with many of them.
Yes.
They're all lovely people.
Yes,
But
they are.
yeah, you put it together, you started it, and you must get the admiration and the credit for that.
Yes,
Absolutely.
like put some respect on my name.
You got it. I don't think I have a choice, do I?
No, you don't. Okay, so Dr. Jeff, we're happy to have you here tonight, and we want to talk to you a little bit about. I have a lot of single friends, guys and girls both, who are saying this is a very tough time for them, especially the single people. The people who are single right now saying it's tough for them. They wish they had someone. If they'd known this was happening, they're home alone or they're home with their kid. I saw where Gail King was speaking yesterday, and she says it's tough being single during this time by yourself. She said that she walked past a mirror yesterday and said, "Hey, Gail," just so somebody could say something back to her.
Mm-hmm.
So, and for couples like Greg and I feel like I'm seeing just a little too much of Greg right now because we're stuck in this house together. I'm like, hold on now, you move downstairs and let me come upstairs. So it's a lot on couples too. So what kind of advice do you have?
Well, I would say that it is okay to be single. It always has been, but now it is much tougher. You know, we used to talk about how guys would complain about wearing a condom. Now they have to wear a spacesuit, right? Yeah. And there's no more swiping left or swiping right or whatever it is. I've always been married, so I don't know what it's like to date. And not that I want to know, because my wife is listening over there.
How long have you been married?
About 5 years now. This is my second marriage, by the way.
Okay, your first marriage was how long?
My first marriage was 20 years.
Oh, that's a long time.
That's a long time. My wife left me on that first marriage.
Oh, honey, you weren't no good?
You know what? I was as good as one can be, but I married someone who was extremely young. So don't make that mistake, folks. Marry someone closer to your age.
You think so? Well, I'm younger than Greg.
Yes, but
12 years.
But your maturity matches his. You guys are an unbeatable team.
Yes, I always feel like women are more mature than men.
Well, women are not only more mature than men, women are superior to men in every way possible. So I know that the teamwork that you and Greg have, you both need one another. But I think the bottom line is that if you were single, he was single, the two of you would survive, would do great, but together you're an unbeatable team. But that said, going back to your first question about being single, this is a really tough time to be single. I call it love in COVID-19. There's not enough of that love. And so people are going to have to step back. It's not going to be about, you know, just jumping into the sack with folks. It's more about what you said, having sex at a distance, you know, phone sex, texting, sexting, and so on. That's going to be the order of the day. People are going to be afraid to be close. You said 8 feet away. Some people are like, when it comes to sex, they might be 40 feet away. Hey, that was good. What you think? I'm finished, baby. How about you?
Right. Of course, of course. So, Dr. Jeff, what about for couples like Greg and I who are in the house together? Well, let me just take Greg and I out of it. I'm going to talk about a friend of mine. She and her husband were talking divorce a little bit before this happened. And now they're in the house together. So I personally feel like either this is gonna be the time where they make it or break it, because they're in the house together a lot. What do you think?
Well, there are two scenarios here. The first one is if you have been in a relationship where you've been trying to get it together, now that you are exiled together, this is the time to make it. This is the time to find your humanity, your kindness, your sexiness, getting more sexy time in. Of course, the kids are everywhere and it's hard to, you know, get that done. It's like, how about that spot? No, the kid is over there. How about that spot? No, the kid's over there. Well, how about the basement? Your mother's buried there. But really, I think what happens is in a situation like that, it's important that we find the love that perhaps we've lost. And today in the New York Post, I don't know if you saw this, but there was an article that said people are so sick and tired of one another where the relationships are not working out. They're saying if there's a pandemic happening this time and it comes back again, this is the last pandemic that they're going to spend together, and they want out. They want to make like a tree and leave and like Mercury and run, and they are contacting divorce lawyers like crazy.
Wow. Well, do you think that is because with this happening globally, that people are now thinking that my happiness is more important? They really see it now more than ever.
People are finding out that you only have one life to live, and
Yes.
there's no promise for tomorrow. So if you can't get a strong and healthy relationship and work through that right now, then don't waste any more time, because you don't know what's going to happen a year from now. You're not going to wait until the kids grow up and, go out to college before you get a divorce. So if it ain't working, some people say jump out of it now. But you know me, I'm old school. I believe whatever your issues are, other than domestic violence, you can work them out. There was a lovely couple I worked with several years ago, an outstanding couple who had a lot of issues. You may have known them. They were called Greg and Nene. And the wife had enough. She was like, I want a divorce. I'm getting a divorce. I don't know if I'm going to be remarried, but they found the love. And if Greg and Nene can find the love and find what makes it work for them, then you guys are a real model, a real example of sticking to it, finding your strengths, covering one another, and making sure that you are supportive to one another in no matter what happens. And I admire when Greg was going through his challenges with his health, you were there 1,000,000%.
Yes. Thank you so much. I appreciate that, because I took a little bit of heat and I didn't appreciate it either. I was constantly like, you don't even know what the hell is happening up in this address. You know what I'm saying? That's for the people that were on the outside looking in. You understand?
I remember that time. You did take a lot of heat. And, we were doing some work together at the time. And I really felt that it was so unfair. People didn't know how day in and day out that you were laboring, you were supportive, you were doing all the things you wanted to do while Greg was going through even his psychological changes.
Yeah.
But I knew you would always come through, because that's who you are. You never give up at anything.
I'm a strong girl. I'm a strong girl, but don't you ever forget that I am human, okay? Because a lot of times people think that just because you're strong, that you don't have feelings. I'm strong, but I have feelings. I hurt like everyone else. I cry like everybody else. I am 100% a human. I wear my heart on my sleeve. I'm tough on the outside now, but I'm real soft on the inside. So just know that.
And look, I mean, if I can do a very quick psychological breakdown, I'm going to ask my daughter if you can get another light for me, see what you can find, even a flashlight, okay? I have to say this about you, she literally gets a flashlight. That's not going to work. People don't understand that you've had to fight for everything that you have, that you have provided for your family.
Yes.
You've provided for other talent. You have launched so many careers and have been supportive to those individuals in their careers.
And they have told me to kiss their ass almost every time.
That's their way of saying I love you.
No, it's not. How did you figure that out?
They feel that they have to be as tough as you are, but only one person can be as tough as you are, and that's you. But when someone is so tough in that way, there is a lot of sensitivity and a lot of things that perhaps are just you're not able to engage in because you're taking care of so many people. So it only makes sense to me that, of course, you have that super tough exterior, but that sometimes you get hurt and sometimes your heart gets hurt.
Yeah, sure.
I know
You're
that.
right. Yeah, sure. I have a question for you. So, how do you feel about, because people have asked me this, so I just want to ask it to you. How do you feel about open marriages?
You know, that I'm an old-fashioned guy. I just don't
Yeah.
believe in it for myself, but I've had patients who've been in open marriages, and if it works for them and it's not an escape from
Hmm.
actually working on their issues, then more power to them, but they've got to follow the rules and be honest in something that can possibly be dishonest.
Okay.
What
Okay.
that question?
Because it's asked of me a lot. It's asked of me a lot. You know, people have asked Greg and I if we're in an open marriage. And I'm not exactly sure why people like to ask that question. I think it's more having more dealings with our age difference. But what they're not considering is when I got with Greg, I was 28 years old and he was a much younger guy and I was a much younger woman. So it's so funny. They're like, oh, so you know, I'm like, Greg is fully performing over here. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't, we don't need anything else over here. So are you in an open marriage now? And I think also because I'm in the industry, I talk to men. Actually, I like men a little bit more than I like women. I'm
Mm-hmm.
the kind of girl that get along with men really well.
Yeah.
I've said it a million times. I've introduced my husband to lots of men. I'm that girl that talks to guys. And I think people think that there's always something going on with me and the guy, but it's really honestly not. I'm not that sexual like that. Like I don't like everybody. I like you to talk to
So,
you, but not to have you in my sack.
so is
Yeah.
so is your sexual energy is towards Greg. Your
Yes.
creative energy is towards the world and other folks, but also you have to be like a secret agent, don't you? In other words, you have to be able to work all the different aspects of your business, but you could still
Of
be
course.
faithful to your guy.
Of course, of course. And lots of women are in this industry. You talk to men, you go to dinner with men. I would go to dinner with you. And if someone didn't know you, they'll be like, oh my gosh, she was out to dinner with some guy. But they don't know that I'm out to dinner with you talking about relationships, right? So people
Exactly.
assume whatever they want to assume. Also, I'm the kind of woman too. I don't have a problem with flirting with a guy. And I also don't have a problem with saying he's a nice looking man. I do all of that. That's just me. That's all of the package of Nene leaks. And if you're going to be with me, you got to be confident. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
And if a man want to send me a drink from across the bar, more than likely I'm going to drink it as long as he didn't put nothing in it.
And you better watch what he's putting in it anyway, right?
Yeah, but the bartender would have me the drink. They wouldn't hand it to the guy across the bar that's sending me the drink. But I'm also who I am, so people know me when I sit at a bar. So not only do men send me drink, women do too. You know?
Well,
So
and that's part of really being able to you know, I'm like the old man in the shoe. I
yes.
have any damn kids. I don't know what the heck. Got them running around here all over.
That's
Um,
okay. I had a house full of kids a week or so ago. I don't have them here now. I have my grandbabies here, but now it's just me and my husband and our youngest son. So there's no running around up in here. Everybody is in their own corners in here.
and
So it's
and
good though. Don't you love hearing their voices?
well, I love the sounds of children, especially me, because you know, I mean, I'm in my 60s now,
Yeah.
and I have my two older, you know, my adult children, my two middle children who are teenagers, and then I have two babies, ages 3 and 4. So
Wow.
I went to the Greg Gleek School of Marriage and Dating, right?
Obviously.
That's why Greg and I get along so well. But
So those are your babies.
those are my babies. Those are
Yeah. Well, so
yeah.
you put the
Wrong.
whole misconception out the window about men in their 60s ain't having sex. Because people be asking me all the time. I'm like, men in their 50s and 60s are having more sex than men in their 20s and 30s.
Well, let me tell you about older guys. The thing is, older guys are like aging boxers, right? It's
Yes.
not about all the energy. It's really about the technique and the satisfaction in
Yeah.
the younger guys are about hitting it and quitting it and,
Yeah.
you know, satisfying themselves. Older men are into the technique of satisfying their partners and making it a situation of where it increases the love they have. When I make
Yes.
love to my this revelations, right? When I make love to my wife, it's not about because, you know, I'm horny. It's about I want to extend the love that I feel for her and keep
Right.
that relationship growing. And
Right.
so
I get that.
have come several children, but I think I have more libido than my wife does.
Well, most men do. Women just don't. We don't feel like it, child. We just tired every now and then.
And that's because sometimes even we as older guys, right? We don't understand. It's not about, okay, baby, just get into bed. I'll jump on top. It really is love making begins in the morning, fixing
Yes.
breakfast
Yes.
for your wife.
Of course.
Making sure that, she's well taken care of during the day, hugging her, holding her, telling her how much you love her.
You
And
hear that, Greg?
Greg knows that. Greg knows that. He and I talked about it. But, and then by the time you get to the actual physicality of it, then she's ready to reward you for all the hard work that you did during that
Yes.
day.
Yes,
Okay?
she is. Yes, yes.
It's
I
not
always say the
foreplay.
love making starts early in the day. It's not at night.
Early in the day. Listen,
Yes.
it's not about the foreplay. It's about the long play.
That's right. Yes, for the long play. Come on, 60.
Right?
Yes.
Where's your drink, by the way, Nene?
Where's who?
Your drink.
Oh, I have my drink, honey.
Oh,
You where
all right.
I have three different ones. I have a drink right now. I have three. I was drinking before you got on. Okay, I said everybody needs to have their quarantinis. You got yours. Okay, okay. It's gonna be a long night. I have to tell you, shake it.
Shaken, not stirred.
I gotta tell you. I have another question before we take some questions from these people. Now, when you said that you were married the first time for 20 years, but you were married to someone that was much younger, what does that have to do with divorcing? Because that doesn't mean anything. Greg coming first in here, so we're gonna put some respect on it.
There's my brother. There's my brother.
You're gonna put some respect on my name.
Well, Greg did it the right way. He married someone who was ready.
He married somebody who, here you go, baby, so you can hear them.
Married someone who was ready. You know what happened was, and Greg and I have talked about this, my first wife is a lovely person. She gave me 4 wonderful children, but I was 34 and I think she was 19. So by the time she hit 40, she was like, I'm finished, I'm done, I'm out of here, I'm going to live my own life. So you know what what that really means? Don't hate the player, hate the game. I understood it and I got it. But she opened up a door for me eventually after I had a nervous breakdown about it. Yes, I did, because I loved her dearly. I bought her, while we were married, I bought her a beach house, country house, Manhattan apartment, took care of all her needs. And she said to me, none of that mattered because you weren't there. You were working all the time. I was like, well, if it doesn't matter, why do you want half?
Because I deserve half at this point. She's probably like, shit, you left me home anyway. Just give me half of everything. Right, Greg?
Exactly. But
okay, Greg.
Greg, how are you, brother?
I'm good, Jeff. You got to step it up and represent us, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I've only said nice things about you, brother.
We are not in an open marriage.
Yes, we are.
What?
She's messing, Greg.
Down to the white.
She ain't messing on you. She's messing with you.
Yeah, but it's going to go down to the white meat here in a minute. Now.
We are in an open marriage.
No, we're in an open marriage. And the thing about older guys, 12 years, and then I'm going to say this and I'm going to leave.
Why are you leaving? You don't come over here and sting us and leave.
No, because you wasn't putting no spec on that. See, older guys, when they lose it with the hip, they make it up with the lip. See, that's the way we roll.
You see what I said?
That's the way we
exactly
roll.
what I said.
I ain't throwing my damn back out. We started at the same time and you didn't get there yet.
It's all about the technique. Greg doesn't believe mouth-to-mouth resuscitation.
No.
Mouth-to-muff resuscitation.
Greg is hilarious. I can't. I can't with Greg. Okay, Greg, what questions did you have for Dr. Jeff? Because you just come trickling your little ass up here. I know you got
Well, I
something.
mean, but you started off so well.
I,
And then you and Jeff just turned left on Buford Highway, and y'all got to talking about me and stuff. I knew, Lord have mercy. Jesus, I knew she was going to get stuck on my fat ass, and that was going to be it. I just want y'all to talk to the people. Help the people.
Greg.
Yeah, through real close friend. Jeff and I are closer than you.
Listen, clearly I know. That's why I was in his
What is
ass,
up,
because I
Doc?
want to make sure that he's up. Dr. Jeff, did you go away? Why, Dr. Jeff? While we get Dr. Jeff to come back in, I will question Greg.
He might
Greg.
be out of minutes. You got to look for Jeff.
He's coming back. Dr. Jeff. Well, okay. There he is. What happened? Dr. Jeff. Okay. He fell off. He's back. Dr. Jeff is back. He's back.
He's been sucking his thumb.
What happened to you?
I went out. Sorry.
That's okay. So anyway, what questions that you have for Jeff? You were talking, and what did you want him to say about guys? What do you have a question for? Craig, what question do you have for him about guys? Or about girls? Okay, go. Then don't even talk about the guys. Talk about the girls.
Okay. Why is it, Jeff, that women hold on to stuff so long and never deal with it, and then it turns from being a concern? At that point, it becomes an anchor because it keeps them in that place, and it's so readily shelf available for them to pull it out to be able to use it as a missile. So why is it that women are like that? What can be done about that? And certainly it's not anything you just have to get used to, because something ain't right there.
Well, Greg, when your partner, okay, not necessarily your partner, but when someone is holding on to something for so long, the reason they're able to hold on to it is because we allow them to. Because they'll say to us, it doesn't matter. I don't need to tell you. Everything's okay. But anyone who tells you that everything is okay, it means no, it's not okay. Because we know things are never just okay. So in many ways, they want us as men to try to get that information, to stay with it. Sometimes it's a test, pushing us to the limit to see how interested we are in knowing what is going on with them, what has mortally wounded them, what they're holding on to. So you just have to keep asking. You just have to keep trying to get that information. You just have to show love and kindness and pull out what it is, that thing that they are holding on to. It could have been something that they experienced early in life that hurt them so much that they just aren't able to talk about it. And so they need to know they can trust you with some of the darkest secrets perhaps that they have, but they're just not going to just give it to you like that. They want you to earn that. And if you're able to do that, if you're able to earn that, then you earn even more of their love.
I have to say to you, Dr. Jeff, now, there is no time limit, okay, to when a person decides to forgive. I mean, because
Right.
you have to understand that when you wrong the person, it's really on them when they're ready to open up and forgive you and receive what it is that you're having to say. So I think people need to understand that there's no limit. You know, if someone decides to hold on to something for 5 years, like, you can't change that in them. You don't have to stick with them for 5 years, but you just can't tell a person when to heal.
I agree with that. And Greg, these are very wise words. You can't just tell a person when to heal, or you just can't say to a person, you know what? We've gone through this for too long. I've already apologized to you. How much longer do we need to discuss this? How long are you going to hold my feet to the fire on this? When are you going to forgive me? It's up to that person who has been hurt, who has been wronged, to say, now I feel that I can do that. If they haven't walked away from you, but they're still holding that pain, that means that they still love you and they want to get some sort of resolution, but that has to happen in their time. But I think you can work with that time frame by respecting what it is that they feel and rewarding them with every little iota that they give you with regard to forgiving you or talking about the thing that has been so egregious in their lives.
Well, I feel that that could be used as a crutch, though, Jeff. And the reason I say that is that women can be able to say that I'm just not going to forget it for 1,000 years and never, never, ever forget it because there is no time limit. There is no statute of limitations attached to it. I think you do a disservice if you allow them to hold on to it too long. If it's been dealt with, if apologies have been issued, if apologies have been issued, it really is no longer on the person who is apologizing. It's on the person you apologize to. See, the action, the verbiage, the work has been transferred through the apology to where it's now on the shoulders of the person that you apologize to.
No,
And
we're
you
not gonna
can't
start
leave them there
preaching.
that long with it because, again, it becomes an anchor. You don't want it to be an anchor. You don't want to see your mate like that. Hey, boo. What you talking about?
No, come on, Dr. Jeff. Come on,
We're
come
just
on.
having a conversation, baby.
I was wondering who Greg was talking about.
I wonder who he's talking about too.
No, I wasn't talking. I'm just talking in general.
I don't know. I don't feel like
Jeff,
it's in general. I
Jeff,
don't feel like it's in general.
we are
I feel like
talking,
you're talking about
and
me.
I'm not talking about you.
Who else is in here?
Just because you in here, I got to talk about you. I can talk about that
He's
tree.
talking about me.
I'm not
He's talking about
talking.
me.
Listen, IG world. Let's get this straight. For y'all come on my page dogging me out. I ain't got about 15 followers, no way. And Lord knows I want to keep all of them. I am not talking about our situation. I'm talking in general.
Oh,
This is a conversation I have with my guy friends all the time.
okay.
It seems to be an issue that's normal, that runs the gamut, that runs the circle. So I'm
Again,
not
what I was
talking
saying to
about
Dr.
you.
Jeff is
Well, wait a minute,
when
let's
you
clear
wrong
this
a
up.
person, you cannot tell them when to say, I forgive you. And then also, it also depends on how many times have you wronged the person. If you wrong them over and over and over and over again, just as many times if you wrong them, if it's been 10 times, it might take 10 years.
But you know why it feels like, even if we're not talking about the two of you, but why
We're not, Jeff. Really, we're not. Get the smirk
but,
off.
but
We're
why
not.
someone may feel that it just goes on and on and on and on and on, and they keep wronging that person. It feels that way, that they're being wronged over and over and over again. It's because it was never resolved the first time completely. So it's about going back to what was that initial thing, that issue, that action, the words that may have said, which, by the way, may not have been intentional. The person didn't intentionally try to hurt you, but the hurt is real anyway. But if you're not able to talk about that, then it just feels like it just goes on and
Down
on
to the
and
white
on and
meat.
on. And it
To the
even
white meat.
comes through an IG conversation.
I'm gonna go to the white meat.
That's it, Dr. Jeff. Preach, preacher.
I'm going down
Hallelujah.
to the white meat. But Jeff, because this was asked of me of some guys. What happens after you apologize many times? Is it still on the person who issued the apology, or is it now on the person who say they received it but made no movement?
But Greg, sometimes it's not just the apology, it's the actions that go along with the apology too.
But
And
their actions were good. They told me their actions were good.
what are we talking about here, Greg?
Well, I'm talking about my guy friends.
Most of them, they do wrong. Most of Greg guy friends be doing wrong shit. Most of them do wrong shit. So, I mean, they do. They do.
Can you
Well,
give
so
me
you running around
can you
here
give me an example
with the
without
angel twin?
of course. What's an example without mentioning any names
An example of what?
of something that was done to someone and then the other person who did it, whether intentionally or accidentally, wanted to apologize and make it better, but that person who was hurt just could not.
Jeff, I will give it to you the way that I got it, because I did not ask specifically to get in nobody's business, because I don't belong there. It ain't my lane.
So they just
For him,
came to you for advice.
no, we just all sitting around talking. They're drinking. I'm drinking a Coke Zero, and just guys talking. And the guy said, my wife, man, just holds on to stuff so long. Have you ever experienced that? I said, yeah, my wife been holding on to stuff since she met me in 1786. She's still holding on to it. But, you know, that's normal. Out of 5 guys, 4 guys said the same thing.
Yeah, but they're
Why
all
do they
still.
hold on to it?
Yeah, but they're all still with their wives, as you are with yours.
You sound like
What
you
the
went away.
volume
You sound
happened?
like your volume went down, Dr. Jeff.
Did it go down?
Yeah,
Is
it
it back?
sound like it.
Let's see.
I turned mine up.
Okay,
Now
I
talk.
turned mine
Okay,
up
there you
too.
go. There
Is
you
that
go.
better?
Yes.
But these guys still stay with their wives.
No, it's
right?
Now
back
it went
low.
back. It went back low again, Dr.
It went
Jeff.
lower again. Wow.
Yeah. Hopefully
Okay.
it ain't me and Greg.
How many minutes you got, Jeff?
As many as you need.
There
Let's
you go.
see.
You're up right there. You're good.
Am I good now?
No.
Well, I mean, you were when I pressed this. Now, there you go. Okay, but it's my volume that drops now. You see, Greg? Look.
Yeah, I
Oh,
do.
I see what's happening. I see what's
All
happening,
right.
Dr. Jeff. It's not you.
Oh,
It's
it's
me.
the frame thing.
Yeah,
Keep
it's not
pushing
you.
it.
It's me. I got
Okay.
it. I got it.
All right.
Okay, there
All
you
right,
go.
now we got you.
Yeah.
All right. So I was going to say that, you know, these guys are still with their wives because let's face it, there's something that has happened to us in the past that we hold on to, whether it was our partner who reignited it, it was probably there before. And so we talk about this idea, and I don't want to get too technical into it. We talk about this idea of trauma, something that hurts us. We have many traumas from our childhood. So what happens is that person that we marry, okay, or that we're with, we get re-traumatized by that person. The person may not even know what it is that they did to re-traumatize us, but they've done something that reminds us of the past. Maybe it's a bad behavior. Maybe it's an accidental behavior, but it just re-traumatizes us to the point of where it's so hard to let go. So if someone is holding on to something so hard, Greg, and it's just, they just can't seem to move on from it, then that's a clear signal that you've got to dig in even more and find out what is that thing that is so painful for them and help them work through it. So we shouldn't, you know, and I'm not saying that you're doing this, but we shouldn't complain about what it is our wives or partners won't let go of. What we should take a look at is trying to understand what they won't let go of and what we can do to help them get through it, because they help us get through stuff that really hurts us too. Men carry a lot of pain and trauma. We just don't talk about it like women do. We drink it away. You know, we don't heal, we hoe. We do all of the things that are negative to deal with that pain. So we've got to take the time to understand what that pain's about. And it's worth it. Look at this beautiful marriage you guys have had over the years, and you've been through it, and you're still together, and the two of you are models for people who have had differences but still have an incredible marriage, and you're still going to have differences. And
Well,
so,
somebody put something in my milk when I was a baby. I've been traumatized.
what now? Say that again.
When I was a baby, I think somebody put something in my milk because I've been traumatized, and I have anxiety problems and all kinds of other issues.
Yeah, but you know, that was a good trauma, and I don't know what they put in your milk, because you ended up finding Nene, and that was the antidote, and now you've been strong ever since.
Yes.
This
I
wasn't
gotta
final.
I gotta ask you this, Dr. Jeff. You said men don't heal, they hoe.
Yes.
That's a new. I'm gonna take that with me everywhere I go. Men don't heal, they hoe.
They do.
Men don't heal, they hoe. Hoe. They said men don't heal, they hoe. Ho, ho, and ho.
Well, that reminds me
Yeah.
of what Santa said when he came home early and his elves were supposed to be making toys, and the elves were in the bed with his wife. Do you know what Santa said? He said, "Ho, ho, ho."
Yes, I knew, but I wanted you to deliver
Yeah,
that punchline.
yeah. That's why you didn't look that interested.
Oh, no, I'm absolutely interested. Listen, we all been through it. You know, these smartphones,
Yes.
these things are so damn smart. They do so many things. I once went to the bathroom in the middle of the night. I left the cell phone by the night table. When I came back, I swear to God, the damn thing was smoking a cigarette next to my wife.
Get out of here.
No more one-liners.
Okay. I'm with you. Okay, so don't go anywhere. Stay right here. I want a couple of questions for you, Dr. Jeff. Questions for Dr. Jeff. You can ask Greg some questions too.
Absolutely. He knows a lot.
Here we go, Dr. Jeff. Look at the screen. Okay.
Okay.
I'm going to throw one up here for you. Okay. There you go. Can you
If you're
see
broken up, go. You read it. Go ahead.
Okay. If you're broken up right now and live separately, should you reach out?
Reach out to who?
I guess to the person that you're broken up with. Do you think they should reach out, Dr. Jeff?
I think if they have children, they should certainly remain friends, and they're going to be in each other's lives forever. And therefore, this is a situation of where they have to agree to get along, even though they may disagree with everything. But you know what? The other thing is, if you're broken up, if the marriage is over, I don't believe in also letting it linger and linger and linger and linger. I like to say they shoot horses, don't they? So
Yeah.
if it's a very acerbic, a very toxic relationship, leave that other person alone. Break that addiction and stay by yourself. Men are afraid to be alone, so the man might reach out first. But again, if it's a situation of where you feel that you can become friends later on, you can do it. My ex-wife and I are friends, believe it or not.
That's very good.
Yeah.
I am now, for many years I wasn't friends with my oldest son's father. But today we are friendly, which is good.
Aren't you glad? Because here
Yes.
we are in a damn pandemic.
Yes.
People are dropping like flies.
Flies, yes.
Old jazz players that Greg and I know, have listened
Yeah.
to, these guys are all dying during this pandemic. I mean, there's so much pain, so much death. The petty stuff that we still keep between us in relationships that may have worked or marriages that failed, it's absolutely ridiculous, because we just need to grow up and be adults and be civil to one another and just move on. People get stuck psychologically in this relationship. Oh yeah, she cheated on me for all these years. They can't let it go. They go on these dates. What do? They talk about the ex-wife. That's not a good look. Nobody wants to hear about your damn ex-wife. Move
Right.
on, Negro. Move on.
Yes. Now listen, Dr. Jeff, what can you say to some women that are saying that they're depressed right now during this time? They're alone and they are feeling really depressed.
Yeah, if they're alone and we see a lot
Well,
of
they're
this
out
going
of
on.
work and
Yeah.
and they don't have any income coming
Right.
in and they're feeling
Right.
depressed.
Well, this is where faith comes in. You have to have faith in yourself. The best predictor of the future is what you did in the past. So if you were a provider, if you were working, it's not your fault financially what's going on. It's not your fault that you have to socially isolate, that you have to self-quarantine, and all these other things we need to do to flatten that curve on COVID-19. So know that there will be a better day. Stay connected with your girlfriends. Stay connected with people close to you. Talk with them on social media. Talk with them on cell phones, but don't spend the time alone. And it shouldn't be a biatching session, by the way. It should also be what I see on your lives, on your broadcast. People sharing empowerment strategies. What helped you? Maybe that can help me. Let me tell you what helps me. That might help you. And so it's that simple.
I'm sorry, that was me, Dr. Jeff. I was trying
No,
to get
that's
to
all
the
right,
screen.
Nene.
Sorry. So what I wanted to say too is I was saying this earlier before you hopped on to some people that might be feeling depressed or just feeling lonely because they live alone or there's just them and their child is off in college or they just moved out recently. I happen to have a big backyard, so I was saying that if you have a backyard where your guests doesn't have to walk through your home, maybe they can come around to your back and then they sit on one side of your pool or one side of your porch or one side of your patio or your balcony, and then you guys can still talk, but they won't walk through your home. And you guys
Right.
can still sit apart, 6 or 8 feet apart or something. I'm just trying to come up with a creative way so they won't feel so depressed and alone. They're not having any visitation and that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
So,
and you've been providing a lot of relief to folks who have not been able to connect because they can connect with one another. They can
yeah,
connect with you live
yeah,
in this way. But I would also say they should follow the CDC guidelines.
yes,
It
absolutely.
be no more than 2 or 3 people in one place. That they should social distance. I
Yeah,
think you're right. People shouldn't be walking through your home because you don't know
right.
what they're bringing in. So they can go to the backyard area. But again, follow the CDC guidelines because we know the social distancing is what's going to get us through this pandemic and just get us ready for the next one.
Well, you're in New York City, and New York City has been hit really, really hard. Have you been going out at all?
I do go out. I have a place a little further upstate, so I've been spending a lot of time with the kids there. But I was going to work every single day at the medical school, Touro College of Osteopathic Medicine. Let me throw them a shout out. They do pay my salary and never bite the hand that feeds you.
That's right.
Right?
Hallelujah.
So,
Yeah.
but yes, I was going out, and I still go out every day. I get fresh air. This is my little baby son. This is the baby.
Oh, he's gorgeous. Hi.
Say hi.
How old is he?
He's 3 years old.
Oh, can you believe he has a baby? He has 3-year-old and 4-year-old. Is it
Yeah,
4?
3 year old and
Them
4 year.
them soldiers still marching, Jeff.
Oh yes, they are. We got to keep them going. A lot of faith, a lot of exercise, and this food that I eat called pickles. It's a Haitian.
I know
Really
pickles. I
super
love
hot
pickles.
Yeah,
dog.
we like people.
We love
Pickles
pickles.
is great. But
That
yes,
is.
getting out every day and getting air is so important, Greg and Nene, because it does help us with those feelings of isolation and just being able to breathe, but don't breathe too deeply.
Yes. But can you tell me, Jeff? We know New York City as a crowded city. So is it really looking like a ghost town there now?
People are still doing their thing, social distancing, but they really understand the responsibility of caring for others, elders, people with compromised immune systems, and therefore not, spreading the disease. I'm so proud of my fellow New Yorkers, New Jerseyans, Connecticut folks, and so on. They're taking this thing in a very serious manner. They know that they've got to do the hygiene, they've got to do the social distancing, the self-quarantining, because we are at the epicenter in Manhattan. But there have been no riots, there have been, no major, from what I can tell, spike in crime. So New Yorkers always come through strong, as many people in the rest of the country. We have a
That's true.
divided country, but we're bringing this country together despite what anybody may say or may want to do with regard to politics.
Very good, very good. I want to take another question really quick because I don't want to leave anybody hanging here. We have so many questions, Dr. Jeff. I'm just going to grab some.
All right.
Okay, they say, how did you last through breakup and getting back together? I guess that's a question for Greg and I. How
Yeah.
did we last through breakup and getting back together? To be honest with you, when Greg and I broke up, we broke up. I mean, when we divorced, we divorced. He went on, he moved out, he had his place, I had my place. He started dating, I started dating. There was no thought in my mind that we were going to get back together. So one day, Greg happened to tell my son to tell me hi. And I said, like my son got in the car and and Greg was still in the doorway. I was like, hi, and just went on. And from him saying hi to me, sparked conversation for us to start talking again. And because we weren't even speaking, we weren't
And I
saying
and, and I
hi.
and I remember that. I
Yeah.
do remember that. One correction though, Greg was not dating when the two of you broke up. He told me
Yes,
that.
he lied to you. He was
What?
dating. You lied. Why you lied to that man?
I was not dating when we listen.